Hey guys, happy Sunday. And today we are going to be doing an awesome, massive giveaway. But before we dive into all that, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out the information box down below, checking out the website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, maybe checking out the witchy shop over on Etsy, Desert Cauldron, all one word. Maybe you might even consider signing up for the newsletter where I have just over 500 people signed up for that newsletter. And I send out a newsletter on the first of every month. And you know what? October 1st is quickly approaching. It's literally like 3 days away. It's on Wednesday, which is amazing to me. But I don't play the spam game. So the only email you get from me is that once a month on the first. So it's a newsletter chock full of, there's recipes, DIYs, books I'm reading, channels that I'm watching, music I'm listening to, decks that I'm using, some herbal information, teas, all kinds of stuff. So if that interests you, definitely sign up. And check out all the other ways that maybe you might want to support the channel, possibly with my YouTube membership. And thank you also to my YouTube members. You know who they are because they have a little colored kitty head right next to their name. And those people are Kayla and Nancy, Jonathan Cleese, Jolene, Duality Tales, Sea Captain 8611, and Costalini. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you also to my Patreon homies. And the link for Patreon is also down below. So for all my Patreon friends like Lily and Dana and Jamie and Kayla and Sugna Baby and Brian and Brandy and Palu and Crystal and Easy Does It, Joel 1111, Casey Gritter, Oz, and Ashley. Thank you so much. Mwah. And of course, we can't forget all of you amazing subscribers, which is why we're doing a giveaway today. At last check, there was 11,470 some subscribers. Woo! Like I remember when I was first starting this channel back on July 16th of 2016, I was like, well, I was so enamored with all these other YouTube channels and, you know, people that would just kind of like put themselves out there. They would put their journey out there. And at the core, the thing that linked them all is they all wanted to help other people either by sharing their stories. Maybe they shared their mediumship abilities. Maybe they shared some laughs and some stories. Maybe they read cards for people, but whatever it was, it seemed like at the heart of all of those channels was wanting to help others. And that's something that, you know, I've tried to do my whole life in all my various weird ways. And I thought, you know, maybe I could do something like that. So I started Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And you might be wondering also, how did I even come up with this name? So when I was trying to come up with a channel name, the guy I was dating at the time, he was a marketing major in college. And he was like, well, it should be like things that really interest you. And I was like, well, at the time, all I had was Wally. I didn't have Loki yet. Wally was my Siamese cat. And I was like, well, I love kittens. And I was like, okay, well, kittens. What else do you love? And they're like, well, I like working out. He's like, weights. And I was like, and I play with tarot cards. All right, tarot. Oh, kittens, weights, and tarot. Okay. Done. And so that's how Kittens, Weights, and Tarot stuck. I know it's a mouthful, which is why we just say KWT now, but you know, a little backstory and all of that. All right, well, we have some wonderful homies coming on in. So I'd love to say hello to Lilith Phoenix, who's here. She said, yay, congrats, Tara. Thank you. And she said, those disco balls are groovy. Oh, you like them? I was like, I want some pizzazz during this chat. So I saw that these were at like the Dollar General of Value stores. Dollar Family General Value stores, the dollar store basically. And I was like, ooh, disco balls. I think they were meant to be hung up somewhere, but they're going to hang around my neck. So Janine Barnes is here as well. Hey, Janine. Gina, hello from Portland, Oregon. Woo, woo. Riley says, was ist los, mein Fräulein? Freunde. And Janine says, well done, Tara, for your well-deserved amount of subscribers. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so going back to the very beginning. So when I got my first 3 subscribers, I was like, oh, 3 people like my channel. And then immediately after, I was texted by 2 family members and 1 friend said, hey, we just subscribed to your channel. I was like, yay. I was like, 3 people are subscribed. And then I remember specifically when I hit 10 subscribers and I was so over the moon. I was like, whoa, 10 of my friends and family actually like the weird things that I do. And then it was 20. At a certain point, I had hit 100 and I was just like, okay, well, I don't know 100 people. So I was like, oh my gosh, strangers like my channel. I was like, and those strangers had started to become friends, a part of the what I now call affectionately the KWT family, my KWT tribe. You are my group, my homies, my friends. And after that, I remember hitting 1,000, and then it was 2,000, and it was 3,000. And at the time, I was a high school teacher, and the high school I was teaching at had 2,100 students. And I remember when I hit 2,100 subscribers, and I know what it looks like when the whole school during fire drills is out on the football field, how many people that looks like. And so I'm like thinking, that's how many people like subscribe to my channel. Like, I'm just like this kind of weird, goofy girl, and I just like having fun with people and I like making friends. And like I said, at the heart of it, I've always wanted to just help people in any weird way that I can, whether it's just sharing stories, having laughs, doing some, channel guided meditations, doing channelings for people, reading cards, just having a chit chat, like, and then when I surpassed the amount of students there were in a high school, I was just like blown away. And here we are now, all these years later, 9 years later, actually. I was like, woo, 9 years. Here we are at over 11,000. So thank you so very much. So that is why I want to try and give back to you guys today with this giveaway. So we have a chance for 3 wonderful prizes. So I'll get to those in just a moment. Donna Taylor is here, said hello from Florida. Hello. Ooh, Florida. Hello. Hey, Expedition Adventure. So happy to see you and watch you guys grow and expand. One of the best channels out there. Thank you so much. Peg Shields says, hola peeps, looking festive today. And congratulations. Hell yeah. Lila Phoenix says, I see future disco earrings. Oh, girl, that is what I should have worn because I already made disco earrings. I made them around Christmas time, or not Christmas time. I made them. When did I make them? I made them in March or something. I don't know. I was passing the craft section. I saw disco balls. I'm like, I must have those on my ears. And disco balls were born. Shadowland says, hey, just got back to woodworking. My carving knives just got to me yesterday. Fabulous. And by the way, Shadowlands does some amazing things. You should definitely check her out on the Instagrams. Mind Over Numbers says, congrats, beautiful. Thank you. Lilith Felix says, you surpass the confines of countries with your loving goofiness. Well, thank you. All right, you guys. So, gosh, where to begin? I have like all these things rattling in my head of like what to do with you guys, but hey, let's actually talk about the giveaway because that's probably why a lot of you are here. So, so this is definitely gotta be here to win. In my giveaways in the past, it just seemed like it was hard sometimes. Like when some people actually won, some people never did receive their prizes because I was reaching out and they never got back to me. So I want to make sure that you guys actually get your giveaway gifts. So we're going to do a be here to win. Shadowland says, or right here on YouTube. Yes. And thank you, Shadowlands. Thank you so much. So, okay. Are you guys ready? I mean, maybe I do have a drum. Excuse me. I was like, I need a drum roll. Oh, heck yeah, I have a drum. Although I don't know how it sounds right now because there's Drums always sound different based on the humidity because it is animal skin. So usually when it's really dry outside, you get that really high pitched like tingy on your drum. And if it's like really humid, you get a whoomp, 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 which is kind of cool too. So all right, we got the humidity. So we got the whoomp, whoomp, whoomp going on. All right. So Lilith says the gift of Tara on a weekly basis. So thank you. Okay. So let me go over the first prize. Okay, first prize is a one-on-one channeling session with moi. So over on my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, I do have a part of my store where you could order a one-on-one channeling with me. There are 20-minute channelings, there are 40-minute channelings, and thank you to everybody who has gotten a channeling with me. And also, thank you to everybody who's been a guest interviewer for channelings here on YouTube, either during our live chats or setting up a time to meet with me, during the week so that we could record a channeling video to post during Monday or sometimes other days of the week, those channeling videos. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So the first place winner will receive a 15-minute one-on-one channeling with me. So you might want to babe, we could use off airport, right? So we could do giveaway at offairport.com. Does that sound good? To contact us so that we can help to set up a date and time that would work great for you. Think about what energy you would like to channel. It could be your higher self. Heck, it could be Elvis if you wanted. The king. So that will be for our first place, that one-on-one direct channeling session. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So Riley has posted that for you guys. It is giveaway at offairport.com. So that way we can get in contact. Janine said, whoop, whoop. And Shadowland says, caught a video of a hawk snacking on something in my backyard earlier. Oh, really? Well, I like that because hawk medicine, that is my jam. Hawk came into my life when I was like really at the beginning of, you could say, my really going into my spiritual journey and going within. That's when hawk became really prominent, especially red-tailed hawk, because that was mostly what was in my area. But hawk still comes around from time to time. But I think for now, I've been moving into more of wolf medicine. But of course, I still have all of my birds. Birds are always going to probably be prominent for the rest of my life. Okay, so let's go into, what is the second prize? The second prize. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, second prize. Again, something else that you could find on my website is a long distance energetic healing session. So for my energetic healing sessions on my website, I have 30-minute sessions, I have 60-minute sessions. For our prize today, it is a 15-minute distant energy healing session. So again, you would email me, giveaway at offairport.com, and we would set up our session time. For those sessions, basically the people would let me know what area they want me to focus on. Like they might say, it could be something physical. I've been having physical pain in my hips and I would like you to look into that. So not only would I try to heal the physical pain that is in the hips, but also look into the energetic reason that person might be experiencing some physical pain. So what is the body trying to tell them by giving them pain in that area or showing them pain in that area? So I email that person after the session is done, say, these are all the things that I saw. This is some of the things that came up. Here are some things that you could work on, because that is also at the core of everything I do. I try to empower other people to help heal themselves. Yes, there are healers out there, but they can only go so far. It is us that has to finish our healing journey. We go inwards, so when somebody says, hey, I could do this massage therapy on you. I could do this Reiki on you. I could do this long distance energy healing with you. but you have to continue the journey. It is your journey. It is your energy. It is your body. And so I always try to help show people, this is what you can do. You have the tools, and, I can guide you in that direction. And then the rest is up to you. So I'm all about empowering people. So there is that distant energy healing session. All right. And then thirdly, our third prize, let's get ready. Okay. Third prize is, oh, maybe I'll get a clean copy of it. My Wally's World Oracle. You could see that this one is still in the plastic because it is a brand new, unopened Wally's World Oracle. This is my very loved. I've left it out in the sun. I've taken it all over the place. It's been to the beach. It's been to the mountains. It's been to the desert. It's been everywhere, baby. So this is the one that obviously I use with you guys, but you guys will be getting this brand new deck, so you don't have to get one with all of my grubbies and travels. You get to take one with you and travel wherever you need to go and get your own energy all over it. But this Wally's World Oracle, I believe it was back in 2017, I had started that journey creating this Oracle deck. And I wanted to create a deck that, again, brought in community, that brought in people. And I wanted us to come together and for everybody to feel like, I never wanted to be somebody on YouTube that was like, I'm telling you how it is. Like, here's my thing. And I'm just like, I never want to talk at people. I always wanted everybody to feel like we all have something to share and we're all just trying to do this earth walk together. So that was the whole reasoning behind Wally's World. And actually, it wasn't like I was sitting around being like, what should I create today? I should create an Oracle deck. No, actually, I had a dream. And a lot of I think my best ideas come from my dreams. So I had this dream of, and it wasn't specifically that it was a deck, but I had this dream. Wally, my cat at the time, was in the dream. I saw my roses, and it was like a portal of my roses because I was growing yellow roses. I had red roses, I had orange roses, I had white roses, I had a beautiful rose garden. And I had just this, in this dream, it was this portal of roses. And that when I looked through the portal, it was flashing all these different places, almost like that movie Stargate, where they could like walk through that portal and they could go like to some distant world that had pyramids in it. It was kind of like that, but it was like flashing all these different sites. And I was like, whoa. And like Wally was sitting there right at the front. And then I saw all of this hemimorphite crystal, which is my favorite crystal in the whole world. It's a beautiful icy blue. And there's a province in China that creates the type of, well, their land creates the type of hemimorphite I love. And so, after seeing the roses, there was some sacred geometry in my dream that was actually the flower of life. So, or not the flower of life, it was the seed of life. That's right. So it was the seed of life. I saw all the roses. I saw the hemimorphite. I saw the flashing of all these beautiful sights. Wally was there. And when I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to make an Oracle deck. But I myself haven't even traveled to like a tenth of what the world has to offer. So I decided to put it out there, and I was like, hey, community, I'm going to be creating an Oracle deck. And if you would like to be a part of it, I'm asking if you wouldn't mind donating photos of your favorite sacred site. So something that's sacred to you. It may not be something that, is on any sort of map or, travel guide where they're like, go to here and you could see this. It could be something as sacred as the tree in your own backyard, a rock you like to meditate on when you're out on your hikes. It could be a place in your home, but something that is sacred to you. And then if you could do a write-up about it, and people did, so many people came forward. There are 60 cards in this deck, or sorry, 64 cards in this deck, 64. There are 64 cards in this deck. And yes, a few of my pictures are in there, and a few of my family's pictures from places they have been are in here. But for the most part, it's from you guys, your sacred spots from around the world. And so, well, since I have my open raggedy copy, and by the way, there's little Wally Walito, and he was just a little kitten. And actually, he's there on the cover. He was actually sitting on a physio ball that I was using, and I thought, oh my gosh, that looks cool. So I photoshopped the world. He's on the world. And I wanted to call it Wally's World, but I didn't want the deck to be about him, really. I wanted him to be kind of like the way he was in my dream, where he was just a guide. He was just there to show you. But you had to be the one to step through the portal. He can't step through the portal for you. He can't do your healing for you. So he's been photoshopped really small, just kind of somewhere on each card. And it's kind of like, where's Wally? But he's just meant to be there energetically, just to kind of help you along. So this quote had come to me in my dream, which was, a healing journey is a journey home. And I wanted to have that beautiful hemimorphite blue. Like I said, this is all dirty and faded now because this deck has literally been with me everywhere. But it has this little guidebook where I did all the photoshopping, all of that. So those are actually my roses from my garden, my white roses, all photoshopped together. And in here, I have a couple of spreads, my Wally's spread, but everything in here, which now I know, if I ever make another Oracle deck, I'm going to make the type a lot bigger. But this is everybody's write-up, and this is a picture of their card. So if you wanted to, you could look up why those people said that particular site was sacred to them. And then there I have the seed of life, so that my deck is always getting charged by it when it sits on top. And here at the back of my cards, there's my beautiful rose. And if you look even closer, the seed of life is overlaid on it. And then I have all of my blue hemimorphite just kind of collaged all over the back. And then I wanted gold edging, because for me, gold is a really good conductor of energy. And so that's why I wanted gold foil. And then on each card, there's, let me see if some of my gold foil is there. I think some of the gold foil has come off of this card. But basically, like here, we have like a gilded triangle here, another gilded triangle, a gilded circle, because I have this thing for circles and triangles and air and water and and earth and just completedness. And then we have my portal of roses and Wally. Where's Wally hiding in this picture? There he is. He's down at the bottom. But actually, this picture here, that was taken by one of my friends in the UK. But yeah, that's what every card is like. Oh, and that picture is when I went to the Great Wall of China, and I felt very sacred there. But yeah, these are all pictures from you guys, from Belgium to the UK to Italy to different parts of the United States to Peru to all over the place, Germany. So many wonderful places. So, okay, Wally's World. So again, whoever it is that wins my Wally's World Oracle, I'll throw in a few extra goodies before I mail it off as well. So, but again, you would just email us the address that you would like it sent to. And that could be anywhere in the world. I've never, I don't think so, but I don't think I've ever excluded any country or nation. So whoever the winner is, you could be in Timbuktu, but hopefully they mail things to Timbuktu. So giveaway at offairport.com is where you would email that address, whoever the winner is. Okay, you guys. So let me go back and look at a few of those comments. You guys are like comets. So shiny, so wonderful. Let's see. Warframe said, affirmations and breath work have been working for me. That's wonderful. I love that. I find that to be helpful as well. I found breath work to be really integral in my healing journey, because I know that sometimes like my breath gets all out of whack when I'm ungrounded, when I'm like overexcited about something. And it was actually where I learned my breath work. it wasn't from guided meditations and it wasn't from like gurus. It was actually from when I started training to be an opera singer. And that's also something I did along the way. I became a professional opera singer while I had this channel. And so it was all about like connecting to my breath. And if I couldn't like get everything aligned, my lungs, my diaphragm, my spine, my just everything, the lifting the roof in my soft palate, then it just wouldn't come out right. So I had to be very mindful, very present, coming back. So yeah, breath work and affirmations, that's worked for me too. So that's wonderful. Peg says, Wally's World, those are all so precious. Thank you for sharing your gifts. Good luck, everyone. And Shadowland says, I'm looking into adult swim lessons so I can get stronger as a swimmer, so I can actually swim with my tails. Yes. Oh my gosh, Shadowlands, you are living my mermaid dreams over there. If you guys don't know, Shadowlands has designed her own mermaid tails, so that she can kind of swim around in the beach, in the pools, and all of that. And that's my little mermaid heart is like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Lilith says, maybe not in the physical, but you can travel to places some of us will never reach. Yes, that is the joy of, hello, everybody on Flight Astral Travel. Make sure that you are buckled up before we take off to destinations unknown. Janine says, wow, what ace giveaways. RZ giving some hearts. Peg says, wait, what? You're an opera singer? Wowza. Yeah, okay, yeah. So okay, let's get into it before we get into our giveaway here. Actually, I have some things all set up for myself. I did bring a bottle of wine. So I have my wine opener and everything, and we're going to be putting it into this cute little tumbler. It says unicorn juice because this is my unicorn juice. Just we'll have some celebration wine. Of course, I have water too because you got to hydrate, especially if there's alcohol involved. Hydrate. And I also brought one of my favorite kind of cigars. This is called a Superfly cigar by Oscar Valladares. I love Oscar Valladares, so we're going to smoke a little cigar. And then also, check it out. I have a sparkly champagne popper, so I get to make a mess. We're going to pop this sparkly champagne bottle. And in case we have issues with our champagne bottle, I got two little backup poppers. Okay. So yeah, I have all of that. Okay. So yes, the journey since I started this channel. So back in 2016, I was teaching at a high school that was pretty close to where I lived in Spring Valley, California, which is in San Diego County. And I believe I was a few years into practicing for opera, and I practiced with the beautiful Charme Musacchio, and I mean her name. I could say her name because her name's all over the place, literally. I like to say it. My voice teacher is kind of a big deal now. She's gotten multiple contracts at the Met now. She is a beautiful alto contralto. When she hits those low notes, or you could feel the floorboard shake. And that's something I envy because I don't really have too many low notes. I'm a lyric soprano, so I'm like up in the, up in the ethers. Yeah, so I did that while I was teaching. Of course, I was also doing kittens, weights, and tarot. Other things I was doing on the side was I was a track and field coach. I used to be a head coach, and then it was just like, it was a lot of work. So I decided that I would just be one of the assistant coaches. And so I became an assistant coach at the school that I was teaching at. And I became a high jump coach because I was like, you know what? I know all of the events. So you put me where you want me. And they're like, we need high jump. I'm like, you got it. So I was a high jump coach. And because I was friends with basically all the coaches and a lot of coaches who were also teachers of different, like they did different sports. There was like basketball coaches and football coaches, tennis coaches. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm pretty good at photography and I have a little photography company. It's just me. But I was like, if you would like to to do sports photos with somebody that you know, I could take your sports photos. So that's what I did. I did photography for the athletes in the district and all the sports teams, you know, not all of them, but a good number of them. So yeah, I did photography as well. And then to kind of, I guess, also work on, you know, like meditation, coming back to my body and trying to mix that with the athletics that I really liked. I liked working out in the gym and everything. I decided back in like 2009 to study with Choi Li Foot, which is a type of Kung Fu. And that also really helped with my breath work. Like Kung Fu and opera together really helped me with that breath and being present. Because again, if I wasn't present in Kung Fu, I was going to get hurt. If you're not paying attention, the other person's going to take you down. And that happened a couple of times where it was like, ooh, squirrel. Oh, all of a sudden my face is on the mat. um, but yeah, so I did a lot of different things. And so I tried to incorporate that into my channel as well. And so you're probably wondering, okay, well, where did all the like woo woo spiritual stuff come from? Well, so basically, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, like really little, always I could always sense and sometimes see with my own eyeballs spirit, and sometimes there were things I could sense about people or a room, or have like prophetic dreams of like what would happen the next day. And there were kind of things that I sort of kind of kept to myself, but I wasn't scared of them until I got a little bit older. And then, you know, growing up in my area, I lived in a very, you know, it was a Hispanic area, and so there's a lot of superstition. And so there was all this like all of a sudden fear surrounding spirit, fear surrounding dreams that came true, fear surrounding all this. And so then I became very scared of like, oh, you know, I don't want to see spirits anymore. And so I would pray to Jesus like every night, like, please, like, take it away. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't like feeling these things. And it seemed like, you know, I felt like maybe Jesus is just not listening to me. And so it wasn't till I got to college, I decided, you know, why am I so scared? I don't like being scared of things. So I want to learn more. So we didn't really, I mean, I guess we kind of had the internet, but it's not the internet like you guys know today. This is like very early, this is 1999, 2000 type internet. So like, hello, AOL chat room. There's our internet. So you can really do a whole lot of research. So it was more like talking to people. So I talked to other people that I met at college and was like, hey, like, you know, do you see spirits? You know, it was kind of like this, you know, and it was interesting because the people that I met at the college I went to, they were so open about it. It was like me that was the weirdo where I was like, let's talk about it in hushed tones. And they were just like, spirit's just a natural thing. They're like, you have a soul, right? They're like, well, when you die, your soul lives forever. They're like, so what you're seeing is just people with no bodies. They're like, but they're still just people. And they're like, why would you be afraid of them? They're like, if you weren't afraid of them when they were alive, why would you be afraid of them when they're gone? Because technically they're not gone. They just don't have a body. And I was like, oh, you know, I hadn't thought of it that way. And so I started getting a little bit more comfortable, like feeling into spirit. And then I had a friend who, she was I think she was in the dorm below me. And she was like, hey, do you know about tarot cards? And I was like, kind of. Like my Nana had a couple tarot cards. She didn't have a whole deck. It was just like a couple of cards. And I thought they were fascinating. But it was kind of left over from what she knew about in Mexico. Like in Mexico, she was like, I mean, she meshed Catholicism with like astrology and mixed in with like native cultural beliefs. So it was like this conglomeration of things. And I do remember there being a couple of tarot cards. So I'd seen them before, but I just didn't know how to use them or like what you're supposed to do. So my friend, she didn't really know how to like quote unquote use them either. She was like, I think you're just supposed to like lay them out and tell people's futures. And I was like, whoa, far out, man. And so I just kind of like put them aside after college. I had never learned them. And then fast forward to when I started teaching, again, I started feeling spirit intensely, and I started feeling this reconnection to my religious roots as well. Because, like I said, my area, it was a mixture of like Catholic plus like folklorico, like folklore, like native folklore from like Mexico. And it was like all meshed together. And so that's kind of like what guided the beginning of my journey. And I was like, again, I want to try to understand this. I was an educator, right? Educators want to learn more so that they can, help more people. So I wanted to learn more from myself. So again, that I wouldn't be scared, because for me, I feel like a lot of our fear comes from the unknown, and the more I could know, the less fear I would have. And so I decided to it was so interesting because I had these tarot cards. I still had my same deck that I had back in college, and I remember I started laying the cards out, and I would feel this, like, it was almost like right now, it was like a breeze came in, this like wind. And actually what I was feeling, it wasn't the cards, because they're just pieces of cardboard with pictures on them. And it wasn't them at all. And that was something I had to learn. It was me. And it was something in my energy that was like, okay, you're ready to open up your intuition. So when I laid those cards down, it wasn't the cards, but it was something signaling in my body that you're ready to open up. And so that breeze I felt was my own energy. And I was like, whoa, like, what is this? What is my feeling? And then all of a sudden I would feel all these spirits, and I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I kind of put the cards away again. And then when one day I just was like, F it, like, I'm ready to do this. I don't want to be afraid of anything. So again, I laid the cards down, my intuition opened up, I felt all these spirits, and it was like game on. And so I read all these books, I watched all these YouTube channels, I was just like soaking in information. I was still trying to, understand what I had learned in my Catholic somewhat upbringing. I say somewhat because it wasn't my whole childhood; it was part of it. And so I'm like trying to mesh all this stuff together. I'm trying to learn, and I got to a point where I felt confident that I could tap into a person, albeit I was using cards to do so, because that's how I knew at the time how to access my intuition. That was my tool to use to access my intuition, or to give myself permission to access that person's energy. And so it was very nerve-wracking, but I was like, okay, I'm going to create this business, and I'm going to start like reading professionally, because I had been reading for friends and family. And so 2016, Kittens, Weights, and Tarot was born, and the rest is history. So there you go. And of course, later on, about 4 years ago, I started, understanding that I had been channeling since I was little. I just didn't know that's what I was doing. And now I'm learned to like actually connect to it and hone it. It was like one day I was like trying to access my intuition, utilizing my tool, which was tarot cards, but I was getting information faster than I can pull cards. And so I just pushed my cards to the side, and I was like, let's do this. And so I was like, at the time I was indirect channeling. So it was like my higher self was getting information, and I was just speaking out what I heard and what I saw, until one day it was like I became one with the energy, and I just started direct channeling. So I never really set out to be like, oh, one day I'm going to be a tarot reader, or one day I'm going to like be a channeler, or one day I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I kind of I kind of fell into all of it. And I'm enjoying the journey. And I'm so glad that you guys could be here with me on this journey as well. Let's see. RZ says the sparkly champagne bottle looks fun. It does. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's get this party started. I already have a candle going here, so I am going to light my little incense. I would like to clear our space. And what I would like to do is pull a card from, of course, my Wally's World. Just something for us to meditate on. And then we'll start popping our little poppers here, maybe pour a glass of wine, maybe light up the cigar, and then we'll start the giveaway. What do you guys say? Let's do it. Okay, so excuse me if you guys see my butt. I'm just gonna like light this little incense cone. Um, hello, candle. Okay, the candle needs a relight. That's fine. That's why we have backup lighters. Because your girl rides with lighters. Okay, good, good. Good, good. Cheerio and all that. Okay, so just clearing our space. And that's another thing, like I said, I probably wouldn't peg my spiritual beliefs into any one box. It's been a journey, and some of it is mixed also with my native beliefs as well. And some of that is the purification of smoke and fire, cleansing the space, while also saying a prayer. Okay. That's going to go up there in our little fireproof dish. Okay, you guys. uh, Wesley Bradbury says, that is a gift. And Riley says, Princess Poopy Pants, droopy draws. I don't have droopy draws. Rude. Okay. So we have our bottle of wine. I'm going to pour a little unicorn juice tumbler. Wine needs to breathe, so I can't drink it right away. So I might as well pour it now. So let's do that. If you guys would like to grab yourselves something to sip on, it could be water, it could be tea, it could be a cerveza, it could be vino, I don't know. Whatever makes you guys feel festive. Check it out. I have my little my little wine accessory box. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this off here. I'm excited to get this giveaway underway. Slang some cards, have some fun. I have so many stories to share with you guys too, especially of my recent trip to Idlewild. Anybody know where Idlewild, California is? Hey, look, it's Taquish. They say, as in the Chumash and the Koya peoples, that the spirit of a powerful shaman, one of actually several powerful shamans, lives in that monolith, and that there are a few different monoliths between California and Arizona that harbor or have the spirit of these shamans who have so much to teach us and so much energy. And man, there was some energy when I went there. Okay, so sorry, I'm getting my little corkscrew in. Twisty, twisty, here we go. Round and round we go. Been all around the world. Ay, ay, ay. Oops, maybe I twisted too far. Okay. We got overzealous in our twisty. Okay, that should be good. Oh no. Doesn't want to open today. It is slipping off the bottle. Oh. We're having an issue. Houston, we have a problem. Can't open a wine bottle. I guess that makes me not a professional. Okay. Okay, and put that to the side. All right. While I wait to, oh, the cork has cometh out. You guys caught that, right? It sounds so awesome. All right. So this vino that I am going to be using is the Apothic Red. I love red. Red to me is the heart chakra, but it is also the root chakra, although technically the heart chakra could also be green, but sometimes I think of red when I think of the heart. So I'm thinking root and I'm thinking heart. Okay, and this is a 2021 Winemaker's Blend, rich and smooth from California. All right. So let's, P.S. Thank you to my boyfriend for coming to the Vino rescue. All right, here we go. We're going to pour a little. I'm going to pour it over this napkin here so I don't make myself a mess. Okay, there's a lot going to this tumbler. I'm probably not going to drink that during this whole chat because people get tipsy. All right, so I'm going to put my little corker on there to save our wine. And I'm going to put my little lid on here. All right, I'm going to let this breathe for a little bit before I dive in. And cork smells nice. Do you guys have any like arts and crafts that you guys do with wine corks? Those of you that are in possession of wine corks, do share because I like to do arts and crafty things. Okay. Back in you go. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, that's going to go there. Okay, let's turn around. So, like I said, that is going to be just chilling. I want to do this little party popper. Rotate arrow by direction. Are you guys ready? Wow. That had some oomph to it. I like it. Yay! Most of it flew that way. Yay! Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much for the vacuum, but think of all the sparkle that's gonna be in the vacuum now. It's gonna make the vacuum magical. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and pull that card. Um, let's see. RZ says, did you ever feel called to follow your Native American beliefs practice 100%? No, only because that's been a journey in itself as well. My father's side of my father's mother's side of the family, like my nana, they come from Sonora, Mexico, and there was, if you go far enough back, like like my great grandmother, who was like full blood Pima Indian, Pima Native, and the Spanish, of course, had a hold in Mexico. And back when the Dawes scrolls were coming out, so what the Dawes scrolls were, it was basically everybody who was a native had to put their name on these scrolls so they could categorize and try to track all Native Americans in North America, which also included some that were in Mexico. However, there were many natives that were scared to put their name on that list for fear of persecution, because there was persecution by the Spanish Catholic Church. There was persecution from the Spaniards themselves. There was persecution from a lot of different peoples. So many of them, and my family included, had taken a different name and they left their native names behind, and they went with the names Rivera and Moraga. And then after that, it was this almost like the family would treat it like it was a dark secret. Like, we don't talk about our native ancestry. We say we're Spanish. Like, we don't even, they wouldn't even mention that they were Mexican, but they were from Mexico. But they would say, no, 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 we're Spanish. We're Spanish blood. We're Spanish. And it was like they would just totally deny that we had any Native American in us. And even in the area I grew up in, like I said, I grew up in a Hispanic area, that there were other Hispanic people that would look down on people who were like darker skin. Like, they would say if you had skin like an Indio, a native, then they would look down on you. And so it was always this like culture war within the same culture, like Mexican against Mexican, light skin versus dark skin. And so, I would get teased. My dad would get teased because he's also very dark, but he's also half Tagalog. He's half Pinoy. He's half Filipino too. And so, and he was known as mestizo. And so I had to rediscover my native roots myself, because I wasn't getting any help from most of my family except for my nana. My nana was like an open book. And so I'm saddened that I didn't ask her sooner about our roots, but I'm grateful for everything that she did teach me about my roots, my background. And so it was from there, and eventually with that whole spiritual journey I was talking about, connecting to my ancestors, that's how I learned about my native blood, basically. So I didn't get to grow up in amongst everybody who was celebrating that part of their ancestry. So I think that part is a bit sad, but also I feel grateful that I learned what I could from my nana, and the rest of what I could from my good old-fashioned intuition, tapping into my ancestors. And that's what I always tell people: go within. A lot of the information is within. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and shuffle up these cards and get us a little message before we light up that cigar and start this giveaway. Lila says, bottoms up. Expedition Adventure says, hey, Idlewild, I used to live there, and now I live just down from ID in Mountain Center. Small world. Oh, wow. Yeah, the place we were staying at, we went to go see some friends, and we were staying at a neighbor's house, which was, they were kind of using it as like a guest house. And if you open the front door, the moment you look up, you could see like Takish, like right there. It was like amazing. And then one of our friends drove me around. She took me to some sacred spots, and I want to get into that story. So I'm actually going to save that story, because it's a big one. And there was like, I was having like a spiritual overload. I was like, ooh. But no, it was all good. There was no bad during that trip. It was all good. It was just intense. Let's see. Gina says, I have a stash of corks that I have planned to use for years. Well, that's awesome. Well, so if the project, ever comes to mind, at least you got the corks to utilize them. You don't have to be like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to wait 5 years to like store up these corks for this like vision I have. So, hey, that's awesome. And Gina said, woohoo. And RZ says, I'm happy you were able to rediscover your native blood and learn what you can. Thank you for sharing. You're very welcome. And Expedition Adventure says, too cool. Looking forward to that story. Oh man, I'm looking forward to sharing it, because it was wild. Even Riley could back me up that there was some interesting stuff going on there. Mind Over Numbers says, yes, I felt the same with my family. My great-great-grandfather, grandma's dad, just knows his people came over the water and settled in the South. And my grandfather is Creole Black Frenchman. Oh, wow. I think it's kind of sad that so many people, it seems like, come to a dead end in their ancestry, because so much in the past has been, they try to erase it. But what I think is wonderful about the now, not only are people finding history where they thought they had destroyed history, but also so many people are coming into their soul. They're coming into an awakening, whether, they get to it through some experience they had, maybe they got to it through their religion, maybe, but there's this coming back to the heart and coming back to the soul and reconnecting to something that can never be destroyed, which is our energy. That is our soul. It is the collective consciousness. Everything that's ever happened is right here. We are a piece of that. Some will say it is source energy. Some will say it is God. That it's us. It's that divine energy. And and no matter how many books are burned or how many people have changed their name in order to hide something, our history is right there, and that's something you can't burn that away. You can't hide that away. And I think that that is what a lot of the world is fearing now, is that people are starting to find truth, but it's not because they found it in a book or on the news, or even on somebody's YouTube channel. People are going inwards, and I think that that is freaking amazeballs. Mind over number says, yeah, I felt the same with my family. My yeah, I read that one. But yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. Mind over number. Oh, the card. Oh my gosh, the card. The card that popped out. um do I have anybody from San Diego that can tell me where this place is? I mean, I know where this place is. I took that picture, but I'm asking, do I have any East County San Diegans who might be able to tell me what that is? Or maybe you're not from San Diego and you just know what that is. um, yeah, go ahead and put that in the comments. Here, I'll leave it there for you guys. Some wonderful mountains and hills. There appears to be some water there. And like I gave you guys a hint, it is East County, San Diego. Mind over number says, truth comes from within. RZ says, that looks so pretty, but no idea where that is. Okay, well, I could tell you, but since I am giving away this deck, I might as well read from the guidebook so you guys can kind of hear what the guidebook says. Okay, so this is card 39. Okay, like I said, I apologize. It was my first time making an oracle deck. I did make the print kind of small. You might need a magnifying glass for it. The photographer, moi, I always put who the photographer is. The location, Sweetwater Reservoir, Spring Valley, California. What the photographer had to say. So I always wrote down what everybody had to say. I said, I feel very fortunate to be able to enjoy a view like this. We often see many deer, coyotes, mountain lions, rabbits, skunks around our area. I even had the pleasure of seeing a gray wolf on our street. My city feels so magical to me. Oh my gosh, I had forgotten about that. I'm glad I read my own guidebook. Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was late at night, and my the guy I was dating at the time, we were driving home, I think, from this Italian restaurant that we would always go to on Wednesdays with his mom, and there was this gray wolf just standing in the middle of the street. I mean, we're familiar with coyotes. We know what a coyote looks like. They're much smaller than a wolf. And although a gray wolf is a smaller type of wolf, it's still bigger, bigger than a coyote. And it just stood there in the middle of the street. Our headlights were right on it. And it just stared us down, and it just like looked at us for a good, I'd say minute and a half. And then at a certain point, the guy I was dating was like, Tara, do you have your cell phone? Like, take a picture. And I was like, oh crap. I didn't know where my phone was. So we just stood there, but we sat in the car just like staring at this wolf, and this wolf just had this look and was like, and then he walked off. It wasn't too long after that, that I would say it was like a year and a half or so before I had made the decision to leave my teaching job and leave San Diego and move to Arizona, because that's where I felt called to go. I couldn't give you any like reason why I want to go to Arizona, but I just felt just throughout my whole core to my bones, I felt I needed to go there. And here I am. And I'm happier than I could ever be. So to me, with the beautiful hills, the water, this just tells of magic and that the world is a reflection of our magic. It's a reflection of everything that we feel in here. So if we're feeling turmoil and fear in here, then our world is going to reflect that turmoil and that fear. If we feel just absolute love for our fellow man and for man and woman and animal and everyone, and then our world is also going to reflect that. And I know that whatever our world is reflecting is also a part of our journey as well. So there isn't any shame in anybody saying, well, I've had, some pretty bad stuff happen. It's not something to be shameful of. It's just something to reflect on and say, okay, although I can't really fix the world and I can't make people do things, I can work on myself and I can see what I can discover in there, because that too is is a really interesting journey, and I can learn a lot about myself. And then I might be able to understand the people outside of myself even better, because I've learned to look within me. And that's what this card means to me. This means going inwards. This means magic. And me being able to look into the water and saying, the water is me. Look at the mountains and the hills. The mountains and the hills are me. The gray wolf that I saw standing in my street, that is also me. The people who have taught me lessons in some very painful ways, also me. Those people that have loved me when I thought nobody was around to love me, those people are also me. And so this I'm glad I pulled this card. This card speaks of my journey. And so, yeah. Oh my goodness. Let's see, let's go back here. Riley says, does it start with an M? Is it more? Easy does it said, hello all. Peg Shield says, hi, Easy. Riley said, hola, Easy. And Peg says, so it's one of your sacred spots. So yes, this is my sacred spot. Actually, I could see this from not at my house, but if you walk down my hill a little bit, you had a clear view of this, and that's where I took this picture. So yes. So that is in the deck. Okay, let's light up the cigar and let's start off with the Wally's World deck. What do you guys say? Easy Does It says, I made it, but I'm at work, so I can't stay. Well, hey, no worries. And thank you so much, Easy Does It. That is so generous of you. Thank you so much. Okay. And by the way, if you guys don't know, Easy Does It is one of my fabulous patrons. So thank you so much for everything. Okay, here we go. So I have my Superfly. Just look at me, it's Superfly. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this thingy up again, like so. I'm gonna punch a little hole in it. And no, I'm not trying to be dirty. Okay. All right, so let's light this baby. Perfect. All right, and for me, tobacco is sacred, hence the cigar. I don't really smoke anything else except for weed. Sorry, marijuana. YouTube didn't hear that. Mary, my friend Mary. I like to smoke Mary. And cigars. Okay. All right. So here we go, you guys. This is obviously my well-loved, well-mangled, well-traveled deck. I would not give you a busty old deck. So our winner is going to get this beautiful unopened Wally's World deck so that they could take it on their travels and they could see what they get from all of these beautiful sacred spots, 64 different sacred spots from here all the way across the world. Like I said, there's places in the UK, there's places in Australia, there's places in New Zealand, and yeah, definitely all over the UK. There's Belgium, there's Germany, there's oh, forgive me, because there's a lot of different spots. But I know that there's a lot of different, Peru, that was another one that was in there. All right, so I have my drum. um, Lilith says, Mary Jane, a fine lady. Yes, she is a fine lady. Are you friends with her? I've met her. She's a nice girl. Lives up the block. Gina said, ooh la la. Easy Does It says, we women look so sexy smoking cigars. Oh, yes. And Mind Over Number says, wood tips for me. Oh, nice. The sacred smoke. I'm cleansing you guys as well with my cigar. Okay. All right. And I think my wine might be ready to go. What do you think? Oh, yeah, she's ready. Unicorn Juice has the green light. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. So for the third prize, we're going to go 3, 2, 1, all the way to the first prize. So third prize is going to be this Wally's World Oracle. And what we are going to do, we're going to have this like little, it's like a computer generated like shuffle of, I'll tell you how it works, the people in the chat. So in order to be entered into that particular prize giveaway, I'm going to have you guys type hashtag Wally's World, all one word. So, and maybe even Riley might be able to put it into the chat for you guys so you guys can see what that hashtag looks like. But basically, this new fun-fangled thing that we're utilizing. All lowercase. Yes, all lowercase. Okay, and you guys can win multiple times, so no worries. Okay, so it'll be hashtag Wally's World. No spaces, no capitals, no cap. Yeah, so WALLYSWORLD. So we'll put that into the chat as well. But those who are into the phonetics, let's see, they would be Whiskey, Alpha, Lima, Lima, Yankee, Sierra, Whiskey, Oscar, Romeo, Lima, Delta. I think. I think I got it right. Okay. All right. So everybody who would like to be a part and try to win this, just type that into the chat right now. Hashtag Wally's World. Riley said, everyone type it into the chat now. Good luck. All right. And so Riley and I have found this like thing, spinny thing, and it goes through everybody's screen name who put that hashtag in it, and it'll come up with the winner. So good luck to you all. I'm excited. Somebody's gonna win Wally's World. Drum roll. Okay, so we'll give you guys time. Everybody who would like to be entered to win a Wally's World Oracle, go ahead now and put hashtag Wally's World into the chat so that we can collect your screen name. So far we have Peg Shields has entered, Lilith Phoenix has entered, Easy Does It has entered, RZ has entered, Mind Over Number has entered, and Expedition Adventure. We'll give everybody a little bit more time. Mind Over Number also doing the drums. Okay, So like I said, we'll give everybody else a little bit more time. Peg Shield says, come on, join in. I know. Come, join us. All right, so there you guys see it right there. And you see that we're putting in that hashtag Wally's World. And so that's what the computer is going to be looking for to find the screen names and to come up with the winner. And Riley is being a goofball over there, looking at his private chats. Okay, so I guess I have to let him know when to click. All right, so we'll do a countdown, like countdown from 5. Riley, does that sound okay? Okay. All right. Drum roll, and then we'll do countdown from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Expedition Adventure! Yay! I wish I could whistle. There we go. Yay, congratulations. All right, so this is brand new Wally's World going to Expedition Adventure. Again, send an email, giveaway at offairport.com. Riley will put it back into the chat so you can see that email. So please send your mailing address to that email, and I'll have this out in the next week for you. Plus, I might put in like a few extra goodies, but thank you. Yay, I was so excited. We need to do a little pop-off for that. We do. And we have to have another sip of wine, of course. Okay, here we go. This one is for Expedition Adventure. That was right at the camera. Yay! Nice. I could dig it. All right. Let's see. RZ says, congrats, Expedition. Yay. Expedition says, hey, too cool. So excited. Riley says, congrats. Everybody doing the bubbly and the drums and the clapping. Peg says, woo woo, good job. Expedition said, will do. Thank you. All right, so Expedition Adventure, Riley has just posted the email address. Again, it's giveaway at offairport.com, so feel free to copy and paste that. And you could even send that email now. Say, hey, I just won the giveaway for Wally's World. Here's my address. And like I said, once I get that, I'll have that mailed out to you within the next week. And like I said, there might be some extra love in there, you know. So thank you. Yay! Woo! So excited. Oh, all right. You're going to a good home. Yay. Okay. Let me have, like I said, another sip of bubbly. Congratulations. Well, it's not really that bubbly, but you get the idea. If the wine were bubbly, there might be an issue. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. The computer's full of confetti. I dig it. Oh, it's so festive around here. Oh my goodness. I like all the confetti. I'll show you guys when we get close to the end of the chat. Okay. So, all right. So that was our third prize that we had to give away. Our second prize is going to be a 15-minute distant energy healing session. So again, that person is going to use that same email address, the giveaway at offairport.com. And once you email me, let me know what area you would like me to work on. It could be an area of your physical body. It could be an area of your life that you would like me to send some healing to. Or you might say, hey, I just want a general overview and let me know if I have anything to work on or if there's anything that jumps out. which I'm happy to do as well. Some people they want a general check-in. And so sometimes when I do a general check-in, I might see a little bit of a blockage within this chakra or this area of the body. And here's what you could do to help yourself to basically just open up your energy centers. So, okay, I feel like I should share one more quick little story, and then we'll go into the second prize. What do you guys think? Oh my, it went out. Boo. All right. Congrats. Okay. So I wanted to share that Idlewild story with you. Okay. And then we'll get to our winner for the healing, the 15-minute distant energy healing session. So, upon arrival, after 8-hour or so drive, we are met by our friends who had invited us there. And our one friend, she was super excited, to show us off around the property that we were going to be staying at. Beautiful property, by the way. The owner, her first name was Dot. I forget her last name, but she was a women's Air Force service pilot back in the 1940s. So there's a lot of like aviation stuff around her home, but also she has a lot of paintings and sculptures and it seems like when she was alive, very wonderful woman. And it seems like our friend had built a very close relationship with her. And so it was an honor to be able to stay in her home. And like I said, when you open up her front door, Takwi's right there. It's gorgeous. So walking around the property, I went into her art studio, looked around all her wonderful art. It seemed like she was very talented. She also taught art as well. And I started to feel like overwhelmed like with energy. I was like, whoa, I started getting like really dizzy. I started feeling kind of nauseous. Like it's when I know that I'm just like, it's like too much. And it's actually been a while since I felt like energy was too much, but it was really, I felt not just one energy, but it felt like hundreds and hundreds of energies from people, animals, ETs, I don't know, just everything was like descending upon me. And I was just like, oh, I couldn't wait to get out of the studio. I got out of the studio. I was just like, oh, and I'm trying to tell Riley that I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like that was a bit much. And so we went and sat inside. We were having a conversation with our friend, and I was letting her know how I felt. And she said, hey man, like this area is known for its portals and its energy. So she says, this place, like either you vibe with it or it kicks you out. And I was like, boy, man, I said, talk about a lot of energy. Janine says, a giveaway healing session. Yes. So then I think it was, well, we stayed for a few days, but okay, so get this. The first night we stay there, I don't know what time we went to bed. I don't think it was too late, but so both Riley and I go to sleep. And I think we woke up a few times during the night, and it felt like I felt well rested each time that I woke up during the night. So I thought it was morning time. So I woke up, and I don't know what time it was because I didn't feel like getting up and checking my phone. Besides, like, who cares? I'm just trying to get some sleep. And it's still dark outside. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up feeling well rested. I feel like it's morning, still dark outside. And so I did this throughout the whole night, and it felt like night lasted 24 hours. I kid you not. Then I hear from Riley that the next morning, he felt like that too. He was like, I felt like night lasted forever. And I was like, yeah. And so, again, I was still feeling a little bit of energy here and there, still trying to adjust to it. I was still a little off kilter, having come from Arizona's energy. Now I'm like in this portal's energy, just going from portal to portal. And then there was one evening that Riley's putting, he's programming his radio because both he and I have, ham radio license. And so he's trying to put that in, but the radio is freaking out. It's like like switching screens. It's like glitching. And so we're trying to figure out like what's causing that. Like he's like thinking maybe there got moisture got in there or something like that. And he was like holding it by the antenna to show me, he's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, so whatever's here, you got to make it go away. And so like, I'm trying to tap in, and all I could feel were just like, again, those hundreds of energies. And it's like everything wanted to talk to us, but at once. And it's like, I can't possibly talk to like hundreds of energies at once. But before I could even finish tapping in, he's like, oh my gosh, my phone is freaking out. And then, oh my gosh, the laptop is freaking out. And I was like, whoa. So I'm like texting my friend. I'm like, dude, I was like, some stuff is happening here in Idlewild. So then I decide I'm going to go take a shower, because it's in the shower that I ground and I can really reset my energy, and I can set an energetic boundary if I have to. Because although I never want to like, go against the free will of any spirit or energy that's out there, I can set down boundaries, just like we can set down boundaries while we're still here in our physical human bodies. So I'm in the shower, just trying to set some boundaries. I feel like, okay, I feel grounded again. I come out of the shower. Riley says that it seems like everything is kind of working again. So I was like, cool beans. Didn't think anything of it. Next day or 2 days later, I got to go into town with our friend, and she took me first. She took me to climb these giant boulders, more like scramble up these giant boulders that have this beautiful overview of like all of Idlewild and of Takwish. And so we get up there, and I didn't have like sneakers or whatever. I brought my cowgirl boots and I brought my flip flops. So I ended up wearing my cowgirl boots, and I didn't know we were going to be doing climbing some boulders, like trying to, get up some boulders. So I just took off my shoes and I went up barefoot. And so I went up barefoot up these boulders, and we're up there, and it's like, the wind's in my hair, and this vulture came just right over my head, and I put my arm up and my fingers brushed his feathers. It was like, oh, like in that was freaking amazing. So then I get into this like, meditation, and I'm meditating, and I realize in my meditation, I start chanting. And some of it sounds a little bit like Diné, a little bit like Navajo, but I have been studying Navajo. So that was coming out. But then there was more words that I didn't know were starting to come out. And I'm like chanting this thing, and I'm just like swaying, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, but I'm just going with it, and I'm feeling the vibes, and I'm like, woo, and I'm just chanting, have myself a good old time. And then I felt like I was done after connecting to Takwish's energy. And my friend was like, she says, did you feel it? You feel good now? I said, I feel great. She's like, great, let's continue on, because I have a very sacred spot that not many people know about, and it doesn't have a name. So it's not like I can give it away on the internet. I don't have a name for it. She doesn't have a name for it. So she takes me to this sacred spot that was sacred to the Kauai people. And there's these two boulders, and there's like an entrance, like a rock entrance down into the boulders. And so she says, I'm going to stay at the top of the stairs, but you have to go on this on your own. I'm like, okay. And she's like, here's a sage bundle. You might need it. I'm like, okay. So I go down in there. I look around, I notice that there's some soot on the rocks. So obviously somebody's been doing a fire, in there or something. And I look around, and all of a sudden I'm immediately drawn to this giant like oak tree that's in front of me. I was like, ooh. And so I go there, and I sit on this boulder. And again, I put my hands on the tree, and I feel my grandmothers, like my Nana and my grandma. I feel them. And then it's not just them. I feel like this giant, like female grandma energy. And then I feel all these other like younger female energies. And then I had a brief feeling of my moon cycle. And I was like, but then it was just like, and I felt like I was in a circle chanting with these women. And so I'm tripping channeling balls. Okay. So I'm just chanting, I'm doing this thing. And then I feel like, I had finally started to come out of it, and I was so out of it. Like I couldn't form sentences. My legs barely worked. I'm like wobbling, making my way to the stairs. And my friend's like, did you see it? And I'm like, I saw some stuff. I was like, I went to this tree and she says, okay, you didn't see it. And I was like, huh? She's all, go back down. Come on, follow me. She says, we're going to follow this pathway. So I follow her and then she puts her arm out like that. And I look at this boulder and there's these pictographs all over it. And I was, or sorry, not pictographs, petroglyphs. There's petroglyphs all over it. And I was like, whoa, all of a sudden, again, I'm getting hit with energy again. So I kind of just fell to the ground. So I'm just sitting there cross-legged and I'm just like, again, I'm just chanting. I'm like feeling like from these petroglyphs, I'm feeling um, like the lightning that I saw in the petroglyphs was the people rising up into the lightning instead of coming down with the lightning. I felt like there was all this watery energy and so much flow, and there's like female animal energy, and I'm just like, whoa! Again, I'm tripping out. And then when I was all done, I went over to go see my friend. She was sitting on a rock, and I noticed that the boulder that she's sitting on has mortars on it. So like mortar and pestles. Well, the native peoples, when they would grind acorns and things like that, they would grind into the stone until it created this beautiful, like natural looking mortar. And she was like, oh my gosh. She says, you know what? She says, I have been coming to this place for 10 years and I've been looking for these mortars. And she says, and then you come here and you're like, there they are. And I was like, whoa. So she asked me what I got out of it, like what my experience was. Oh, I might have to relay. We're good. And so I tell her, and then she was like, she says, wow, that's amazing. Do you want to know like what the story is of this place? I was like, tell me. And she says, well, the ancient Kuya people, the women, when they would have their moon time, they would come here for their moon. She says they would be separated from the tribe because it was a very sacred time. And she says, so the elder women would come to help the younger women who were having their moon time. And she says, and even though it's fenced off now, she says on the other side is the creek or the river. And they would go there and they would just like basically be going into this like purification ceremony visions. And so that's why I was feeling all that female energy. I was like, oh my God, that's wild. And then we went into town. We met so many wonderful friends, some people there. So, hey, if you find yourself in Idlewild, I highly recommend the Hidden Grotto. There's a wonderful woman there named Erin who owns the shop. And she's got like the wall of herbs that I've always dreamed seeing my own herbs look like. I was like, oh my gosh, I could just stand in this herby place. And she's like, I love your mushroom backpack. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're standing on my mushroom rug. And literally the rug I was standing on was the same exact mushroom pattern that my backpack was made out of. And I was like, I guess I'm meant to be here. But yeah, she has a beautiful shop. She can hand blend these oils for you. And so I asked her to make me a Bridget oil and a white wolf oil, because get this, I got to tell you that story. This trip was wild. Oh, and if you ever find your, also there's another shop called Mountain Mike's that I would also recommend. There's some leather goods there, and the man who works there, Mountain Mike, he makes everything by hand. He doesn't use machines anymore. But that was interesting because he grew up on the place, the same street that my house on Spring Valley was, like, because he was like, oh, I'm from San Diego. I said, well, I'm from San Diego. He says, oh, I used to live in Spring Valley. I'm like, I used to live in Spring Valley. He's like, well, I used to live on Dictionary Hill. I used to live on Dictionary Hill. I was like, oh my gosh, small world. And then when I had brought Riley back to the shop, to get some stuff, like, turns out he's got a lot in common with Riley. It was like, he was like the embodiment of both of us. It was like so cool. But yeah, we met some other wonderful people there. Definitely go check out those shops in Idlewild. Lovely, lovely people. So I have to tell you about the white wolf. Okay. And why I needed white wolf oil. Hold on. I have it here. There we go. That's what Erin blended for me, white wolf. And it does smell, it smells like the female white wolf energy I was like trying to recreate. Okay. So the night before my friend takes me out on the town to meet all these wonderful people and go to these sacred spots and trip out and have like amazing visions. So that night, like very faintly, I can hear in the distance, because it's really quiet. It's in the mountains, right? I can hear a wolf howling. And I was like, so I tell Riley, I was like, you hear that? And he could hear the wolf howling. I was like, we could hear coyotes, but when the wolf was howling, I didn't hear any coyotes. So then the next morning, I tried telling my friend, I heard a wolf. She says, that's impossible. She says, because there's a wolf pack, but it's like up in like Shasta or something like that. I don't know, but it's nowhere near them. And she says, they can't come here. Of course, we know nature will go where it wants to, but she was saying she was pretty sure that there weren't any wolves there. But she says, if anybody would know if there was a wolf on the hill, there was a wildlife expert, but she hadn't seen him in a few years, so she wasn't even sure if he lived there anymore. But if anybody were to know, he would know, because he knows about every animal, all the packs of coyotes and all the stuff. So I was like, okay, so get this. We're at the end of our little journey, right? Going to these sacred trippy spots, meeting her wonderful friends. And we were going to go get some pizza because Riley and I went to get some pizza like the first time we got there. It was amazing. It was so good. We wanted some more, but they were closed because it had been raining a lot and they got flooded. And I was like, but who is standing right outside of a closed restaurant than the wildlife expert our friend hasn't seen in a few years? The only person that would know if there were wolves in the area. And she's just like tripping out, like, wow, this is such a coincidence. Like, I'm like, yeah, it kind of happens around me. So anyway, she's like trying to relate to him my story. And then I tell him like what I heard. And he was like, well, did you hear it coming from this direction, that direction? I was like, more that direction. He's like, well, that's Upper Rimrock. And he says, there is a couple, and they are teachers from San Diego, and they have a white female wolf named Luna. Now, this wolf probably has been, like rehabilitated or something, where it can't go back out into the wild. But anyway, he knows of it. And he said he also knew of some hybrid like dog wolves that are also in the area that have kind of like integrated with some of the coyote packs. But he was saying, no, he says there is a white wolf named Luna. And he says, and he kind of pointed us where the address would be if I wanted to go see that wolf. And I was like, and my friend's jaw just like dropped him. She's like, oh my gosh, there's a real wolf in this area. I was like, I told you I heard a wolf, and I knew that it was my white wolf because it was like a couple weeks prior. Riley and I are going through the forest. I believe we were in the Apache. I think we were in the Apache res, and there was a white wolf that ran across the little dirt road there, and it just kind of like disappeared into thin air. And when I first got my property up here in Arizona, up here in the mountains, I had a vision of a white wolf protecting the property. So I felt all this wolf energy ever since I came to Arizona. And although I feel really connected to the birds, all kinds of birds, from hummingbirds to vultures to hawks and the like. I really feel this white wolf energy. So to be able to have confirmation that what I heard really was that wolf that I've been feeling was just like, and it's a white wolf. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that was an amazing trip. Oh, and then by the way, when I put up those boundaries with all those spirits and was like, hey, we don't mind connecting with you, but like, you can't like bother us day and night, because then I can't talk to hundreds. We can't talk to hundreds of energies all at once. So Riley was like, while I was gone, he heard something walking all over the roof, and it wasn't squirrels, it wasn't raccoons, it wasn't the you usually hear when things are scampering across your roof. This is like, I could hear it too. It sounded like boots, like a do, 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 like somebody literally just creaking, walking across the roof. So cheeky spirits, they decided, well, you're not going to let us stay indoors, so we're just going to walk on the roof. So yeah, I really wanted to share that story with you guys. And let's see. Mind Over Number says, oh, wow. I was getting a picture of the Page of Wands from the Tarot de Fuego in my head because it is the page going in a cave with a bunch of eyes peeking from the darkness. Ooh, yeah, I could see that. And I do have the Tarot de Fuego, beautiful deck. Expedition Adventure says, OMG, that is wild that you were close enough to be able to reach up and actually touch feathers. This is most certainly some kind of greater meaning magic within the moment. It was, and I'm still integrating. I'm still meditating on all the messages because there was so much that happened in that short amount of time that we were there that I'm still processing. RZ says, such a beautiful wolf, and I love her name. Lil Phoenix says, ah, cute cub. And Peg says, you lead such an amazing life. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for all the experiences I get to have in this life, for sure. Oh, and Mike Green is here. Hey, dude, how are you? That's our friend across the pond there. Expedition Adventure says, by the way, side note, one of my favorite restaurants is in Idlewild, Cafe Aroma. I saw Cafe Aroma. We didn't get to go in, but I did see it. Oh, we also got to eat at La Casita. So good. I love when Mexican food reminds me of my hometown because we're so close to Mexico. I'm very picky about my Mexican food because I legit lived on the border. So, like when I come across like stuff that tastes like home, I'm just like I get the single tear, it's so good. And O'Reilly says, we are so blessed. Yes, we really, really, truly are. I'm very happy. Mike says, I'm well, thank you. All right. Well, Mike, who came in with all the hearts, that reminds us that it's time to pick a winner for giveaway number 2, prize number 2, second prize. Okay. So the hashtag is going to be hashtag healing. No capitals, no cap. So hashtag healing. If you would like to have a 15-minute distant energy healing session with me, go ahead and type hashtag healing in the comments right now. The little computer generated thing we have is going to collect all those hashtags and collect all the screen names connected to those hashtags. And it'll cycle through until it lands on one winner. All right. So the hashtags are coming in now. All right. Let me make sure my cigar's still lit. No, well, the cigar's been a little moist, so. All right. All right. The hashtags are coming in. We have Lilith Phoenix is entered. Gina is entered. Mind Over Number is entered. Janine Barnes entered. RZ entered. Peg Shields is entered. Yes, make sure it's all lowercase. Expedition Adventure also entered. All right, keep it going. Whoop, whoop. And while you guys are entering your hashtags, I will have another sip of vino. You know what, all I would need right now to aggravate a 3-letter agency would be to have a firearm in my possession. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms. Oh my goodness, I cracked myself up. I like to live dangerously. Like Austin Powers. I too live dangerously. Allow me to introduce myself to myself. One of my favorite movies. Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me. All right. So we have, again, more of those hashtags coming in. Shadowland says she had a dream last night that taught her not to worry about what others think of her beliefs. Shadowlands, that couldn't be more on point to a dream that I had 2 nights ago. So after this drawing with you, I will share that dream with you. I almost forgot to share that dream with you. So thank you, Shadowlands, for reminding me to share that dream. So after we find our winner for the 15-minute healing session, I will share that story. And then we will get to our grand prize, first prize winner for that 15-minute direct channeling session. Yay! Mind Over Number says, as you should, Shadow. And I believe Oh, Riley, Janine did retype it. She's up there above Peg Shields. She did retype it in lowercase. Mike Green said, cool. Nice. All right, my friends, I have my drum. I'm going to do just like before. I'm going to do a little drum roll. I'm going to do a countdown from 5, and then we'll pick our winner. So Riley, let me know if you are ready. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and mind over number also putting the what? Oh, oh, there it is. Sorry, I didn't see it cycle on the screen. All right, Janine Barnes. Yay! Woo, woo. Congratulations to Janine. Yay. So Janine, if you could send an email to giveaway@offairport.com. Riley has posted it there for you. You could see it highlighted. Let me know what area you would like me to work on. I'll set up a day and time. There's really nothing you need to do on your end except let me know what you would like me to work on. And then you just go about your day as usual. And then I will do my healing session. I'll send you an email that says, I'm about to start my healing session, but you don't have to do anything. You could even be asleep if you want to. Actually, that would probably be the best because you're kind of in your astral self and you're pretty relaxed. And then I would send you a follow-up email that says, okay, I finished up your session. Here are some things that I saw. Here are some things that you could work on. Here are some messages that came through. Here's the area of the body, of either it be physical body or the energetic body that I worked on, and here's why. So, yay, I'm super excited. Janine says, OMG, I rarely ever win anything. Well, girl, you won today. All right. So, yay. So far, we have Expedition Adventure, who got my wonderful Wally's World. We have Janine Barnes, who's getting a distant energy healing session. And then pretty soon we're going to find out who's going to be receiving that one-on-one direct channeling session. So yay, I'm super excited. Riley said, congrats, Janine. Peg says, atta girl, Janine, congrats, good things. Good thing you lowered the casing. I know, right? So yay, so lots of congrats, lots of hand claps and horn blows and all that good stuff. So yay. Woo-hoo. All right, I'm gonna have another sip on that. Delish. Okay, here we go. And Shadowland says, if we do a reading later, I'm wondering if the hawk earlier stopped by to second reinforce the message from my dream. You know what, Shadowlands? I could go ahead and pull that card right now. And then I could go into my trippy dream. And I think that your dream really, really speaks to my dream too. So I love that. And I have all of my spooky decks out right now because I love Halloween. I love Christmas and I love Halloween. So right now there's like every dark Halloweeny Samhain deck that I own is literally sitting in the house right now. And then of course I'll switch it out when we get to another season. But okay, so Shadowlands, let's okay, I mean, I have so many decks to choose from. I don't even know what deck to use to pull a card for you. Ooh, how about the Haunted House Tarot? Because we're going to be getting into the darker half of the year pretty soon here. Mike Green says, I'm so glad you are all happy here today. Much love. Janine says, only just noticed you have baubles around your neck. I'm guessing they're really disco balls and not Christmas baubles. I'm probably going to have to bust them out at Christmas time too. So you know what? They're giveaway baubles, party baubles, and Christmas baubles. But yeah, I think what they were originally made for is to like hang across your windows or your wall like during a party. But they're hanging around my neck because you know what? I am the party. Party table of one. Anyway, okay. So Shadowlands. Let's go ahead and tap into that hawk, connected to that beautiful dream you had about not worrying about what others think of your beliefs, what other people think of you. And let's see if we get a song playing. I don't know if hawks play music, but they might. Oh, yeah. Take me back to 1999, DJ Gene, The Launch. Do 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 do. You know how like the early 2000s and late 90s, like there were no words. It was just like, you know, the song that goes do 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 do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Okay, that's what the hawk is playing right now. And I have a total rave party going on in my head. So thank you, Hawk. But let's see what that has to do with Shadowlands and her dream. Whoa. Okay. Actually, there was 2 cards that flew out. So, you know, I'm going to have to pull both cards. And I also appreciate your donation. Thank you so much, Shadowlands, and thank you to Easy Does It, who also did a donation earlier. I appreciate both of you, all of you. Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands, and we have the Hermit card. So we have this hermity dude looking all sus, but you know what? It's a haunted house deck, so everybody's supposed to look a little sus. Even this lady, why is she running? Why is she running through the Hall of Wands? We don't know until we tap in. So let's tap in. Okay, that's why I'm hearing the launch. Okay, so Hawk's like, what do people think of when they normally think of hawks? And you said you saw the hawk was feeding on something. And what the hawk was trying to show you is that when we allow others to dictate our lives, that somebody else on their own journey with their own belief system, their own background, and they're trying to put that onto you, and you take that, it's almost like the hawk feeding on some, they're feeding on your energy, they're feeding on your free will, they're feeding on your sovereignty. Now, do people know that consciously? Probably not. Maybe some people do, but not all of us. And sometimes we do it unconsciously. You know, I could like tell somebody, hey, I don't think that you should like jaywalk across the street. But I'm just putting like what I think about jaywalking, you know, and I'm trying to put that onto I don't even know where that even came out of. That was like left field. But, you know, and that other person might be like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't do that because I might offend Tara then because Tara doesn't agree with jaywalking, you know. So now I've now changed my way of looking at how I cross a street and how I do things based on this other woman's perspective. And so that's what Hawk is trying to show you, because Hawk is really good at perspective, hence the term hawk eyes and eagle eyes. These birds have a very keen sense of sight. They can see things that we can't see. And so this is what this hawk is trying to show you. Also with the music that came through, the launch, the counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. You are so ready to go into a new level of understanding about yourself, a new level, you know, with this, that hermit card that I pulled. You're ready to go into this new chapter, see yourself like you haven't been able to see yourself before. And your soul is trying to show you that. And so these other people, although maybe well-meaning, they aren't you. So we can take in their suggestion, we can listen to their suggestions, we can listen to what people have to say or not listen to what people have to say. But that's our free will. And if we choose to change our lives, we can't blame those other people. We can't say, oh, well, I'm this way because of this person. we could say, well, I made a choice. My reaction with my free will was to react this way based on this person's words or what this person did. And so that's what Hawk is trying to show. You have total freedom to be Shadowlands Radio. You have that total freedom to be you, authentically you. And that's why there's billions, there's like 9 billion people on this planet, not counting animals or trees or all of the other weird entities and stuff that we have on this planet. And we're all here to enrich this place, to learn something, to grow, to come back to our soul. Or maybe in this lifetime, some people don't want to come back to their soul, but they're going to learn something about that too. Everybody's going to learn something. And so Shadowlands, you are here for a reason. You are here to be you and nobody else but you. So I hope that helps. All right. Let's see. Mike says that, that he was so glad to see everybody here. Mind Over Number says, I had a dream I was at a buffet. I take it to mean it's the season of abundance. Heck yeah, I get that. Nice. All right. So Shadowlands, like I said, I hope that reading helped you. But basically, the short answer, you do you, boo. And that's what the Hawk was trying to show you. That there are no other Shadowlands on this planet. You are you. There are no other Terras. Some people might have my name, but they're not me. Expedition Adventures, one of our winners, Janine Barnes, one of our other winners. They might have people who share their name. They might have people who have they're the same height, same color hair, maybe even same color eyes, but they're not them. There's a reason Janine is here. There's a reason Shadowlands is here. There's a reason Expedition Adventures is here. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason Riley's here. And every one of you are here. And you're here to share your light, to learn and be authentically you. So take advice from Hawk or not. That's your free will. Okay, so before we get into our grand prize winner, which is that 15-minute direct channeling with moi, and we'll set up a day and time that works best for you, I would like to share my dream, since Shadowlands reminded me of her dream, and I was like, oh heck, whoa, that was like my dream. Okay, now this dream is like, whoa. But you know what? I often have a lot of weird dreams, but it's very rare that I have those vivid dreams where you realize you're not dreaming, but there's something else going on, those kind of dreams where it's like, sometimes we have dreams like, oh, that was weird. But sometimes we have dreams that are so vivid. It's like that memory of that dream stays with you almost like forever. And I feel like it really did happen, Okay. Here we go. And then we'll get into our final winner. Let's have a little bit more vino. Okay. So here's my dream. And I do feel like I have to share it, but it is a personal dream. Okay. So, this was 2-3 nights ago. I have this dream that I'm back at the high school I used to teach at, which isn't unusual. Sometimes I have dreams I'm teaching again. But the thing is, at the high school, there's all this construction going on. Super loud. I can barely hear anything. And all the teachers are trying to find the next teacher meeting. So everybody's roving from like classroom to classroom. We're trying to find the teacher meeting, and we're kind of lost, but it's so loud. And by the way, there couldn't have been an external factor, because like we live right next to a national forest. They're not doing construction, trust me. So this is all in my dream. Then I see this round wooden table, and there's a man sitting at the table, and he's wearing a white button-up shirt. He's got a gray beard. He's got gray hair. He's sitting there, and I feel like I have to go up to him. And I forgot what I forgot like what I had first said, but he was telling me, like he was trying to talk, and I kept saying like, I can't hear you. Like there's too much construction. Like I can't hear you. You got to talk louder. And he's like, Tara, make it stop. And I was like, oh, well, like I can't stop the construction. And he says, Tara, you're dreaming. you can make it stop. He says, now why are you making it loud? You have to ask yourself. And I'm like, but I can't. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not dreaming. I'm like, like I'm at school right now. And he says, you don't work here anymore. And I was like, but I do. And I'm trying to find the teachers meeting, and so I'm having this back and forth with him. And then, and then I was like, besides, like, I don't even know you. He's like, you know who I am. I was like, I don't know you. And he says, you know who I am. I was like, okay, who are you? He says, I'm God. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I said, how do I know you're not a trickster energy? And he says, because I know you through and through. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure the devil knows me through and through as well. So try again. And he was like, well, he says, when you were little, he says, you used to live in an apartment with your parents. And there was this oblong wooden table where your mother would put a leaf in it to extend it, for Christmas time. And he says, and there were books on your seat, and you used to climb the books so that you could be high enough to eat at the table. And you always banged your knee on the table. Do you remember that? And actually, I had forgotten until I was reminded in my dream. And I was like, well, that was such out of left field. And he says, because you couldn't wait to grow up. So you wouldn't, need aids like that, books to sit on to eat at the table. And I was like, but that doesn't prove that you're God. And he was like, well, he says, well, like, come walk with me. But I kept thinking, like, I need to get to this meeting. And I kept feeling I need to get to the meeting. And he kept telling me to stop doing this in my dream, to stop making a dream that was causing distraction, basically. Like, why would I create construction so that I couldn't hear him? Or why would I, make it so that I have to get to a meeting so I wouldn't have to hear him? So cut to, I don't know how we got there, but I'm in the library now, and all the teachers are there reading books. And he comes in, he's really excited about something. And I don't even know what he's saying, but he's like, he's talking really loud. And I'm like, shh. And because everybody's quiet. And I'm like thinking, everybody's going to look at us. This is what's running through my head. Everybody's going to look at us if you're so loud and boisterous. And I'm like thinking, I don't want to offend people. And I don't want to be, like the center of attention. And so then he was like, that right there. Why do you care so much about what people think about you? And I was like, well, because I don't want to offend people. I don't want to, be the reason somebody gets upset or whatever. He was like, basically, to sum it up, he was like, you don't control those. You can't control people's reactions. You can't control people's feelings towards you. You don't control any of that. And he says, you're basically barely having control over this dream. What makes you think you can control other people? And I was like, well, I'm not trying to. And he says, that's not why I made you. He goes, I made you to be loud, and you used to be loud. You used to talk so loud. You used to talk all the time. And he says, I made you with a singing voice. And he goes, I made you with all these things. And he says, why don't you sing anymore? And I was like, well, because I just, I don't work for the opera anymore. And he's like, oh, so you have to have a career to sing. I was like, well, no. And he says, well, then why don't you sing? And it was like, I didn't have an answer. And then he says, now when you speak so soft. He says, you speak softly and you never raise your voice, really. And he says, when you have a really strong opinion, you keep it to yourself. And he says, I made you to be loud. I made you with this voice. And he says, and you need to use it. And I was just like, so it kind of gave me a lot to think of in my dream. I don't remember the rest of the dream, but that's the dream that really stuck out to me. So then I wake up, actually wake up from my dream. I tell Riley all about my dream, and then I check my phone. And I got to do some voiceover work with a friend of mine who also, I've done readings for, and he's creating an album, and I get to be in the intro to his music album. And he was letting me know that he thought that I had a really good voice. So again, this voice thing is coming up. I literally just had a dream about using my voice and about not worrying what other people think about me. And he's like, I love your voice. I think you have a beautiful voice. You could use that voice for voiceovers. You could do podcasts. You could do, all kinds of stuff with your voice. And I was like, wow. So he directs me to a website that I could go, if I wanted to do voiceover work, which I thought was really nice of him. he said that next time when he's ready to create another album, he would like to do a track with me. And I was like, wow. So it was like boom, boom, boom. I just had that dream about using my voice, and then boom. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Riley's like, did you just shush God? I did. I'm sorry. So I'm really sorry. But I appreciate that dream. And so Shadowlands, thank you for reminding me of that dream. And I felt like I really had to share that dream with you guys. I felt like it was more than a dream. I really feel that that was real. And that I received that very real message. And so although I don't think I'm ready right now as we sit here for this giveaway for me to start like singing from the mountaintops and like just loudly saying everything that could offend everyone. I feel like I'm starting to feel the stirrings of that to be who I was as a kid, because even though I kind of always been a wild girl, a wild female, I was much more wild as a kid. And I do see now that I have become softer, quieter, um, and although everything inside of me loves to be on stage, I love to be, like I love all that stuff. I have developed stage fright, which is crazy because I didn't have that as a kid. I used to stand on the coffee table and make up music as I went along. I didn't even sing real songs. I just made it up. I used to stand in front of my first grade classroom and start singing in front of the class when the teacher would give me the 1 minute at the end of class. She said I could earn 1 minute of talking if I would stop talking during class, because that's what went on all my report cards. Tara talks too much. Tara is a disruption in class, because I always wanted to make people laugh. I was always like heckling the teacher. And then I became a teacher. Go figure. And now, and here I have with this YouTube channel. But yeah, so I think that a lot of this journey is to come back and be the kid I used to be. Because she had no fear of heights. She had no fear of going on airplanes. She had no fear of talking in front of people. She had no fear of expressing her mind, no matter what that was and whether people agreed with it or not. She had no fear of singing, even if it was off key and she was making up the words as she went along. Like that little girl, I want to be her again. And I think slowly, little by little, I have been reclaiming her. So thank you, Shadowlands, for reminding me of that dream. And thank you for allowing me to share that dream with you guys. I felt like I had to. Okay, so let me look here. RC says, wow, this theme you're mentioning really resonates with me right now. I'm glad I didn't miss this. I've had such a hard time as an adult really sharing my voice compared to when I was younger. I mean, that's why I say in my Wally's World deck on the inside of the box, the tuck box, not the tuck box, but on the inside of the box, this is a healing journey is a journey home. Basically, we metaphorically leave home. We leave who we truly are to go try out all these different personalities, all these different, I might say clothes. Symbolically, I might say clothes. We try on all these different things. Does this fit? Does this fit? And sometimes it's guided by the way people want us to be, the way society wants us to be, until we realize we had it right when we were the first time, when we were 5, when we were 4, when we were 8, 9, 10 years old. And that whole healing journey that we went on was so that we could go experience all these different ways of being until we realized, you know what? The place I feel the most comfortable and the place that really resonates with me was the me that I was before I left home. So Mike Green says, beautiful. And RC says, Tara talks too much. I still do. It says, I used to get in trouble and called a social butterfly in class. And as an adult, I felt like the opposite. I know, I'm just, yeah, dude, I used to get in so much trouble. And I kind of used to get in trouble a little bit going back to those teacher meetings, not talking about my dream, but when I really was in teacher meetings, I would sit there and I would just like talk to like whatever teacher I was friends with. And I'd be like, we'd be like heckling who the speaker is, right? And they always had us have our laptops because we're supposed to be like working during these like teacher meetings. And I don't care if any of the teachers who knew me are watching this now. This is what I used to do, okay? Because the meetings were stupid. But we'd be there, and there was this guy he was one of the science teachers. And by the way, to my science homies, I always got along great with the freaking chemistry teachers, biology teachers, all you science teachers, and the math teachers. You guys were my friends. They are the weirdest folks, let me tell you. They're not sticks in the mud. You'd think they are because they're science and math. No, they're fun. That this guy who I swear he could have been my brother in like real life. Like we look like each other, we think like each other. He was my brother. I'm like, you're my brother from another mother. I swear, like you were we separated at birth? You could be my twin. But we'd send each other like Star Trek memes back and forth. We'd be and they'd be like, Tara, what do you think? Oh, what do I think? Good. What talking about curriculum? Yes. Cool. Right. All right, back to the Star Trek meme. Like that was me during teacher meetings. Believe me, I wasn't like that in the classroom. I was all business in the classroom, but I felt these teacher meetings were useless. So okay. All right. So that was my story. Are you guys ready for the final prize? So this one will be a grand prize, 15-minute direct one-on-one channeling session. So the winner of this session, again, I would encourage you to email giveaway@offairport.com. So you can let me know like what days, times work for you, and I can get in contact with you as well because I don't know your email. so that way I can get back in contact and say, hey, I have these days and times. You know, what would you like to channel? Again, it could be channeling of your higher self. Some people have no idea, but they feel like they would like a channeling. So they say, hey, here are my questions that I have. So they say, whoever is best equipped to answer that, if they could come through. So sometimes we do it that way. You know, if you're like, well, I don't really know who I want to talk to, but you might have some questions about your life or some questions in general. And so we can always connect to whatever would be best equipped to answer those questions for where you are in your journey right now. Or like I said, you could be like, no, I want to channel my higher self, or no, I want to channel freaking Elvis Presley, or I want to channel an Andromedan, or I want to channel a reptilian. I don't know. Like what? So that's up to you guys. Okay. Let's see. Mind over number is cracking up over there. Lilith says, I think having Tara as a teacher would be so ace. You know, I always thought that I was so, well, maybe I wasn't like as strict as other teachers could be, but I felt like I was a pretty strict teacher. But for some reason, all the kids like they like me, and it's like, and I was never like trying to like kiss my students' butts. I was like, listen, we're here to learn this. We're here to learn this. But yeah, I never once had to yell at my kids. I never did any of that. And for some reason, I always had the quietest, most disciplined classrooms, and I never once had to yell at them. I never really had to do much discipline. It was just like, I expect this of you guys. They got it. And then, I don't know, all my kids liked me. So not all of them. Some kids, I'm pretty sure they hated my guts, but whatever's comes with the territory. Okay. All right. So we're going to do, what was it? Hashtag spirit. Yes, hashtag spirit, all lowercase, SPIRIT. So spirit, yes. I was an English teacher. I should spell that right. So Sierra, Papa, India, Romeo, India, Tango. Hashtag. All lowercase, my friends. Man, this thing keeps going out. But you know, it's been rainy and stuff, so we have a lot of moisture in the air, and so when cigars get a little moist, it's a little hard for them to stay lit. They like to get lit. Anyway. Okay, while you guys are putting in your hashtags, I'm gonna have another sip of wine. Hey, our buddy John is here just in time, my friend. So we have Lilith Phoenix is entered. Mind Over Number is entered. Expedition Adventure is numbered. RZ is entered. Gina is entered. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. I'm so excited about this. Okay. Riley says, come on, peeps, type it in the chat. Yeah, I'm giving you guys some time. So, I know some people aren't glued to like their computer screen, like, 24/7. So I know some of you probably went to go get a little foodie break in the kitchen. Maybe you had to go visit the latrine. I totally get it. Maybe you were caught in like a trance and you're like, I'll be back in 5 trancey seconds. So, so, let me see. Trisha, you are funny. Says, I thought you would be smoking a fat. I would be, but then I would be too incapacitated to do this giveaway. I thought about it though, but I can't. I cannot and also run a giveaway. This is when like Tara is all by herself and like I'm just gonna go off into trance world. But yeah. All right, Peg Shields has entered. John says, what's going on here? We're doing our giveaway, John, because we have hit over 11,000 subscribers. So everybody's entering now for the grand prize, which is a 15-minute one-on-one direct healing session with me. The screen share that you see right now is collecting all of those hashtags that you see in the chat. Hashtag spirit. So that's what we've programmed into the computer. So it knows to collect all of the screen names connected to those hashtags. So if you would be interested in winning that as part of our grand prize, the one-on-one direct channeling session, then just type hashtag spirit and then you'll be entered as well. So Trisha also entered. So yeah, John, so make sure, okay, John got it. So John got the hashtag spirit. All right. And then Peg says, John put the hashtag, which he did. Janine says, maybe it's because it's late in the UK, sent the email, but received a delivery failure notification. Riley says that he'll get it fixed. Okay. All right. And Riley, he's a wizard with computers, so I'm sure he'll get it fixed. Mike says, I just love to listen and learn. Well, I love to, I can't really listen to you guys, but I love to read and learn from you guys. Peg says, me too, Mike. All right. I think for now, that might be everybody who would like to enter this last giveaway prize. All right. I'll give it like 30 more seconds. Okay. Because this is the last prize. So I'll give it like 30 more seconds. Then I get to focus on this cigar for a little bit. Maybe I should just keep my wine over here. I think we'll do that. All righty. Maybe I will hang out with Mary later, but for now it is just my cigar. Okay. All right. So it looks like we are ready. Riley, are you ready? Okay. So I'm going to do a little drum roll and then I'm going to count down from 5. All right. We're going to do the launch. All right. So all of the hashtags are in, which means it has collected all of your screen names. So here we go for a one-on-one direct channeling session. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh! Oh my gosh! Expedition Adventure won twice. Oh! Woo! All right. Congratulations! Lilith like lucky. Oh my gosh. I don't know what kind of juju you put out there, Expedition Adventure. But Expedition Adventure is not only going to get mailed my Wally's World Oracle, but they're also going to be getting a one-on-one channeling session with me. So yes, again, just send an email, which Riley's going to be fixing the email just to make sure it goes through, but it's giveaway@offairport.com. All right. So we'll make sure that before the end of this chat that it's all fixed, so that way, you know, so that way we know that your emails went through. Okay. RZ throwing the hands up, lots of claps, lots of horn blows. Mind over numbers says nice. Riley said, wow, Expedition Adventure, nice job. Mike is like, well done. John said, cool. Peg says, way to go, Expedition, congrats. And Shadowlands Radio was saying that, talking about her dream as well. And Expedition Adventure says, OMG, I'm crazy excited. This is a first for me. Well, there's a first time for everything. So congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. And to everybody who was here today. We don't have to end our chat right this very second. Of course, you know, I want to do a little send off before we go, but thank you to not only everybody who was here in the chat today, and, you know, wanted to be a part of this chat and a part of our, you know, the storytellings that we had going on, being a part of the giveaway. But thank you for being one of 11,470 some subscribers. I say some subscribers because, you know, that number goes up and down, but basically 11,470 some subscribers. And again, thank you again to all of my YouTube members who support me. I am in awe. I never expect, you know, things of people. I never say, oh, people should be doing this or people should be. So whatever people do out of the kindness of their hearts, whether it's supporting the channel, subscribing to my channel, being a part of these live chats, I am truly grateful. I'm being genuinely honest. I am really grateful to all of my patrons, all those people that support me on Patreon, all those different tiers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And Peg Shields says, thank you all. Trisha Wood giving some hearts. Lilith Phoenix says, yay, Tara. Well done, my dear. Enjoy the ride. Oh, man, it's a sweet ride. Okay, so Riley says to Janine, try sending it to, I guess, again. And mind over number. Thank you. Okay, so Riley's trying to send it again. Hold on, Janine, just a second. Okay, so she's talking about her email. Oh, didn't add the .com at the end. Don't. Sorry, Riley, not trying to give you extra work. You know, I do it all the time. Sometimes I'll send an email and I'm gonna be like, what? And then I'm like, oh, I forgot to put the @ sign. Or sometimes I forget to put the .net or the .com, or sometimes I completely misspelled it. I'm like, way to go, English teacher. I'm like, man. But anyway, thank you guys so very much. I think that before we go, I would like to pull another card. And I would like to leave us with a guided meditation, because I always like to end on a healing note. So yeah, let's do that. Janine says it's past midnight here. Good night, all. Good night, Janine. Thank you. So it looks like it did work for Janine. Riley says, Janine, if it doesn't work, try sending it to pj@offairport.com. Expedition Adventure says, it's been a pleasure to be here among like-minded friends. So yeah, Expedition Adventures, check the email, make sure that it works maybe before you pop off the chat today, just so we know, just so we can get it fixed, because I want you guys to get your prizes. Lilith says, girl, I have an idea for a channeling. Can I email you the details? Hell yeah, you can email details about that. I love, and if you would like to be a guest interviewer, I would love that too. But if you just have some ideas you would like to share, we can do that too. Janine says, I'll stay for the meditation. Mike says, I'm glad to have the opportunity to be with you all today. I love you all. I love you guys. I really, truly do. I love each and every one of you. I love hanging with your energies and just spending this time with you on Sundays. Okay, so again, I'm going to pull from my Wally's World Oracle because Wally's World. All right, so what is a message we can be left on, which will also help to guide our channel guided meditation, which we're going to end on. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit here. RZ says, I hope everyone had a good night. Thank you for the stream. You are very welcome. All right. Ooh. Oh my gosh. My bestest friend in the whole world, my friend Tony. He took this picture, I believe, when he and his family first arrived to Arizona and got their apartment. They were the first ones here, and then I got to stay with them when I moved to Arizona, and then I finally got my place. Oh, okay. So Riley says we're good. He got the email from Janine Barnes once she put in the .com. Okay, cool. Yay. So Expedition Adventure, go ahead, send your email. Make sure we get it too. Lilith says, okay, I will do that and add some questions. Potentially could be a guest interviewer, depending. Okay. No pressure, but it would be cool. Okay, so again, I'm going to read from my own guidebook because so you guys can hear what these guidebooks have to say. But yeah, my buddy Tony, he took that picture. So this is card number 41. And this will kind of give me inspiration to how to do our channel guided meditation before we end tonight. So the photographer, my buddy Tony, location, Phoenix, Arizona. What the photographer had to say. This was outside our first home here. It was like if God just set up that for someone to notice. So to him, when he looked out from their very first home, he thought that was God just speaking to him there in the beautiful sunset. I love that. So, okay, I have some inspo then for our channel guided meditation. All right, let's do this. Okay, I am going to move off to the side so you don't have to look at me. And you can have something pleasing to look at, which I have lots of stuff here that you could look at. And I do want to set this off because I was saving this to the very end as like a thank you to everybody. And so it says that I have to rotate it in the direction of the arrow. Okay, are you guys ready? And then we're going to do our channel guided meditation based on my friend Tony's sacred space. Hey! Thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh, that was pretty cool. All right, let me move out of the way. Me and all my disco balls. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll bring this a little more. Come a little closer. There we go. And I'll relight you guys some incense. So you have some of that while you meditate. And by the way, I got this at the thrift store, and this is apple incense. Good stuff. Thrift store finds for the win. Okay. All right. Go ahead and find yourself a nice, comfortable space. A place you will be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be lying down. You could be sitting in a chair. Perhaps lying underneath your favorite tree. any place that is comfortable for you. And as you settle in, taking in the sounds of your environment, perhaps it's the gentle breeze outside your window, perhaps rustling your hair or the leaves of the trees. Perhaps you hear the day to day of the cities that you live in. Maybe you hear the birds or your children at play. But we're just noticing, not spending time on any one sound, just taking it all in and bringing our awareness to our breath. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. And with every inhale, feeling that energy move from our head, down our neck and shoulders, our arms, our torso, all the way down to our tippy toes, down into Gaia, feeling renewed, energized, invigorated. And with every exhale, we release the old, everything that once served us but no longer does. And so we send it back down into the earth and up into the heavens to be transmuted into something new. And we show gratitude and love for everything that was and everything that we were on this journey. Who you were at 5, 15, 25, 55, 65, 105. All of those versions are you, but they were the you that you were meant to be in that moment. And for that, we can show gratitude. Continue breathing. We do not need to focus on a past, feeling fretful about the choices that we made, the people that we once were, because we were just learning through our trials and our tribulations. Every fall, every proper step led us to this moment, to who you are today. The journey is rarely ever a straight road. It's wayward. It's through the valleys, over the hills. Sometimes we encounter roadblocks, but eventually we find a way around. But all of it is our journey. All of it is a gift, even if we can't see it at the time. And in this journey, like my oracle deck would suggest, it's been a journey back home. Home is our God. It is source. It is a piece of the divine that lives within each of us, helping us to remember who we really are when we shed this earthly form. And we can thank this earthly form for all the places it took us, for all the people we encountered, for all the situations we found ourselves in, whether we see them as bad or good. They were needed at that time. And where you go from here is up to you. No one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you who to be. But remember that divine within. Listen to that spirit, that soul, that piece of the divine. It will guide you. It has and it always will. You come from love. You will always be love. And you are loved. Continue breathing. Just feeling into this moment. And when you feel ready, when you've witnessed all those past versions and you look into the proverbial mirror of who you are now, look at him or her with a smile. Because all of that created who you are now, and who you are going to be, well, that's the adventure. What lies behind door number 2, door number 1, that's the fun. But if you're ready, go ahead and bring your awareness back into your body, into your fingers and toes. You might want to wiggle them and possibly even have a stretch. But when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining in this live chat. Lilith says, okay, I'll do that. Oh yeah, that for the channeling sesh. Peg says, have a wonderful week. Love to all. Lilith Phoenix says, blessings to you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey that I'm on. Again, all the people who are patrons, who are subscribers, who are YouTube members, who are friends that come with us into this chat every Sunday, who offer guidance, suggestions for channelings, sharing their stories, and being vulnerable. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Have a kick-ass week. All right. Peace, love, and chicken grease, you guys. Peace out. Bye.